Hi everyone, it's great to see you again. I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently up 0.64% to 65,019. Ethereum plus 3.73% to 4745. My goal is to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, and also gain real wealth in the process. Real wealth is much more than money. It's about inner and outer peace, fulfillment and meaning, purpose, fearlessness, and financial security. Rule 774, master yourself to master the markets. This rule is all about beating self-sabotage. The starting point to beat self-sabotage is to understand that you are worthy and unique. You deserve kindness, love, meaning, and every success in life. When people look at a chart, it's easy to think that these are just numbers. They are not. It's crowd psychology and emotion at play. Fear and optimism. Extreme fear, extreme optimism. It's really important to check emotions inside financial markets, or else self-sabotage can shake you out of a position. Yesterday's session saw Evergrande miss a payment, and basically the market got into a little bit of anxiety and sold off. We can see the sell-off in Bitcoin was not so bad, but the sell-off in some of the alts was quite fierce. However, Evergrande came through at the 11th hour and basically doing the same thing as it's always done and said, okay, we'll pay that. From a headline in the Wall Street Journal, Chinese developers rally on policy hopes as Evergrande again averts default. We can see Bitcoin's price being really well supported by 3 upward support lines. We're in a good price momentum movement. The next target is 73,638. As always, we trade the chart that we view. We're not panicking about external news, but we do take notice of it. The incredibly important thing is to have an upside and a downside risk management strategy in play, and then stick to that plan. We can see that there's a level of support at 61,897. Now, for example, what would you do if bad news hit the market, people became very fearful, and it sold down to, example, 49,305? What would be your position then? Or if it sold down lower, what would be your position if Bitcoin rallied above 73 and went to 85? It's really important to have these risk strategies in play before things heat up. Looking at the fear and greed index inside the crypto market, yesterday's fear and greed index was 77. We're still waiting for it to update. But we can see some fear has entered the market. But overall, the market is looking quite optimistic. There were $146.81 million worth of liquidations in the past 24 hours across 63,457 trading positions. In the last 12 hours, around 67% of liquidations were long. And we can see we've had some long liquidations here, but not multi-billion-dollar liquidations like such as back on the 7th of September. There's a high degree of correlation between futures open interest across all exchanges. That is the bar chart, and the line chart is Bitcoin's price. You can see when futures open interest increases, the price of Bitcoin also increases. When it wavers around, it follows really quite well. We can see futures open interest currently at 25 billion. We can also see there's been somewhat of a decrease in that futures open interest. Bitcoin is a very emotional commodity, if you like. Crypto is a very emotional market. We see exponential blow off tops that are accompanied by euphoria, and exponential blow off bottoms which are accompanied by a capitulation. At the moment, for the past price action seen in white, the key here is this white line is just a representation of price. What we're seeing here with the colored line is net unrealized profit and loss, NUPL, which is this particular axis here. We can see that it's green. Green indicates belief, and it's before euphoria, before that exponential blow off top. But what does euphoria actually look like? Euphoria is typically a 200% plus increase in price, but before that happens, we tend to see 20, 40, 30% drawdowns, as well as very large rallies, for example 90%. But the thing to keep in mind is always be aware of the downside risk. There is always the potential to come back at lower average buy-in prices. Price doesn't just move up the wall. If it does, it will come down the stairs, and rather quickly. We can also get an idea of investor sentiment and trader sentiment by the amount of stable coins moving into the market and then being deployed into Bitcoin. We're seeing that happen at an increasing rate just here. This supports upward price momentum. The key thing for us to understand is where we sit in the cycle. We're currently in the bull market psychology cycle. According to the KS model, which is a crypto technical trading model based on institutional price psychology, the market is expecting higher prices. The KS model has predicted a market peak around the 25th of May 2022. In 2 days, we're going to have the Bitcoin forking. That is the Taproot update. That's going to be a very significant event. It's a major event. It's the first time since 2017, the SegWit upgrade, that Bitcoin has been upgraded. It's very, very important stuff, and it will create a lot of positive buying pressure in the market. We can also see, looking at Google Trends, searching the term Bitcoin, that we're a long way below the previous high of the previous bull cycle. Interest is just peaking up. It's good to have a little look through the news. Market wrap: Bitcoin stabilizes as traders prepare for the Taproot upgrade. You know what that's about now. Bitcoin's price increase being driven by fears of rising inflation. This is really interesting because some people say Bitcoin's price will go up because of inflation, and some people say it will go down. It's often really difficult to read news headlines. PM Modi told me not to bother much about a Bitcoin scam issue. Oh, that's very nice. Altcoin project targeting Wi-Fi revolution outpaces Bitcoin and crypto markets, soaring 82% in 7 days. Oh, that's normal price action in crypto. Another Bitcoin futures ETF bites the dust. Oh, poor old ETF. Bitwise Asset Management late Wednesday withdrew its proposal to roll out a Bitcoin ETF this month. Don't worry, they'll be back. Inflation's concern push Bitcoin and Ethereum prices lower. This is what I'm talking about. It's all blowing in the wind. The news tries to basically say, oh, price moved because of X. Actually, price moved global markets because of the Evergrande issue and bond prices. Not so much inflation. Inflation, of course, is important, but the real key yesterday was Evergrande. Ancient Bitcoin whale awakens. What a cool word. Ancient Bitcoin whale. Oh, he's so old. Oh, she's so old. Moving 148 million in Bitcoin after lying dormant since 2013. It was really interesting. A lot of people on social media said, that's the Evergrande payment. That Bitcoin whale is from China. Yeah, well, it could be. Who knows? I guess they'll do the on-chain data analysis and try and figure it out. Russian deputy proposes bill to legalize Bitcoin mining. Oh, that's nice. Bitcoin price prediction. Oh, avoiding a return to sub 64,500. And forget Bitcoin. Oh, no, don't forget Bitcoin. These cryptocurrencies will outperform the orange giant. That particular author is recommending Banxa Holdings. Always interesting. In other interesting news, crypto miner HUD-8 surpassed 5,000 Bitcoin held in reserves. Well done, HUD-8. Quite an interesting website is about Bitcoin treasuries. We can see that about 7%, a little over 7% of the total supply of 21 million, that's not out yet. That will be out in around 2040. What we can see, 7.11% is held by ETFs, countries, public companies, and private companies. It's really interesting to see the countries involved: Bulgaria, Ukraine, Finland, El Salvador, and Georgia. Quite interesting. When we see, for example, HUT8, let's have a look. We can see the figures for HUT8 have not been updated yet. That's 4240, but it's over 5,000. You can see that these public companies are going for it in terms of Bitcoin. It makes a lot of sense. Bitcoin has a fixed supply and it will become more and more and more valuable. You can see how Michael Saylor is just sailing away so far in front of any other public company with over 114,000 Bitcoin. Go Michael! There's also some interesting news about Bitfarms. From around 18 minutes ago, Bitfarms expands to the US, plans for green crypto mining operation in Washington. Whoa! The reason we look in depth on Bitcoin is Bitcoin drives the crypto market. It's just the way it goes. It's really important to understand Rule 45. No alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. What does this mean? When Bitcoin goes up, all the alts go up with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin collapses, all the alts come down with Bitcoin. But alts move much greater percentage differences in comparison to Bitcoin. So the alts can move up way faster than Bitcoin does, and they can move down far faster when Bitcoin goes down as well. This is why it's so critical to understand Bitcoin's price momentum. Let's have a quick look across the markets. We can see gold really improving. Well done gold. Just down 0.57% for the past year. It was a lot worse than that in the past. S&P 500 up 31% and Bitcoin up 319%. Turning to Fidelity's analysis of the business cycle, fourth quarter 2021 update, we can see the US is in expansion. Brazil, India, Mexico, Japan, Korea are in mid-stage recovery. The Eurozone, UK, Australia, and Canada are getting towards mid-stage recovery, and China is in contraction. After 30 plus years in financial markets, it's really important to understand the interplay between the stock market, the bond market, and crypto. Bonds are typically seen as a risk aversion play. Stocks are a risk on play, and crypto is the most speculative of them all. Crypto is really the foundation for Web 3.0, the upgrade of the internet to the internet of value. As crypto is so speculative, it can feel the tremors first. That's why we need to look at the markets, all of them, the stock market, the bond market. Let's have a peek. Many people across social media are concerned that there might be a market meltdown. The thing to understand, market meltdowns, they do happen, and they happen all the time. And they're actually the best time to get into a market. It sounds really counterintuitive, but it's absolutely correct. Think about it like this. Bitcoin, when it sold off in the US liquidity crisis and the COVID problem, went down to about $4,000. Imagine buying at $4,000 and selling up here at $65,000. Not a bad return. However, these things always give off signals. I've just drawn a box around this particular pre-sell-off in Bitcoin. I'm not suggesting that there will be a sell-off. I'm just trying to show you what happens when there is a sell-off. What we're basically seeing from this particular edge of the box, and you can just cast your eye through these different charts. This top left-hand side is the volatility or fear gauge of the stock market. It's called the VIX. The US dollar currency index, or DXY, is in that bottom left. We can see the NASDAQ 100 just above Bitcoin, the bond prices and the bond yields above and below each other, gold futures or the gold price and the price of oil in the bottom right hand side. What we can see here, when we look to the left of Bitcoin, Bitcoin came up to a point and then collapsed down. What happened with the other particular things? What do we notice? One thing we notice is the fear gauge. The fear gauge went crazy. It basically came up like a rocket. If we're going to see this kind of behavior in the market, we need to be aware. That's not we need to panic. We need to be aware. Where is the fear gauge at the moment? It's really low. That is a good sign. So it doesn't mean that we've avoided any kind of crash, but it just means that fear is low. What happened with the DXY? The DXY was coming up. When the actual crash happened, it went down. So that is a really interesting thing to note. The DXY we can see as a flight to safety, but in a crash, even the DXY came down, but then it jumped. Very interesting behavior. We can see bond prices. There's a lot of talk about bonds in the market at the moment. What did we see happening with bond prices? Just about here, bond prices started to spike up and then they went parabolic, just like the fear gauge. Keep these two relationships in mind. Bond prices and bond yields are inversely correlated. When bond prices go up, the yields go down. We saw bond yields collapse. It was really interesting to watch that. I remember watching it on the news and it's just like it was going down and plummeting. It had everybody on the edge. Gold. What happened to gold? When gold was going up as a flight to safety, when we saw the actual crash happening here, gold prices went down. That caught so many people off guard because gold is supposed to be a safe haven asset, and it's not. It is overall, but the point is it got hit. A lot of people will tell you stories about how things are supposed to play out. You look at the charts, it will tell you how they exactly played out. You can see gold. When the crash came, gold was around 1678. It dropped down to 1478. It may not seem like much of a move, but when people go into gold, they go all in. They go in with a lot of money. When we see, for example, light crude oil, you can see it quite easily. The Bitcoin price was coming up and then it collapsed. And look at what happened to oil. Oil collapsed as well and unfortunately went negative. That was a very horrible time for a lot of people. What do we conclude from all of this? Are we in trouble? We can see the bond prices here. If we look at it, they're not going parabolic. They've actually hit a level of resistance and bounce back. They could be retesting on their way to resume back up, but we'll just keep an eye on it. We can see the bond yields are increasing. Is this a good or a bad thing? It's a good thing, because if they start collapsing, we would worry about that, and they're not at the moment. I need to take you through chaos zone analysis. Chaos zone analysis are the 4 stages that all investors and traders progress through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth. Zone 1 is the panic zone. It's all about internal panic. In zone 1, people say, oh, I fear of missing out. I need to get in. I need to go all in and more. Or they've got fear, uncertainty, and doubt, FUD. And they say, I just saw some negative news. I have to sell everything. Zone 1 is a horrific place to live. Zone 2 is the blame zone. It's all about external panic and conflict and attacking others. Zone 1 and Zone 2 are based on the concept that there is certainty inside financial markets. That is a myth. There is no certainty. There's just terror if you get into that concept of certainty. Getting out of zone 1 and zone 2 means that we embrace probability and have probabilistic fearlessness. That's trade the chart that we view. We tend to just look at positive and negative news in the context of the overall trend. Zone 3 is the patience and rule zone. Patience is really important, and an understanding that negative news does not tank the market. It's just normal stuff. Zone 4 is the meaning zone. With gratitude and worthiness, people reach meaning. There's so many people who do very well financially, but they don't have a sense of meaning in their life. That can lead to a very empty life. We don't want that. We want a full life, both financially and emotionally. You want to feel good. I develop chaos zone analysis to help people understand what particular zone they are in, and it's helped many people, and I love that. Zone 1 and zone 2 have what I call the light switch effect. People go all in or all out. Why do they do that? It's because they want 100% certainty to be 100% correct, 100% of the time with zero loss. Who can blame anyone for that? If we could do it, everybody would do it. It's just unfortunate that financial markets don't permit that kind of behavior or thinking. One thing is positive awareness only and no uncertainty, and any negative move is perceived as the positive move is over. This creates the light switch effect, which people basically say, I'm out or I'm in, and it creates FOMO and FUD. Zone 3 and Zone 4 have probabilistic fearlessness. It's like a dimmer. The light can come on slowly. You can scale into positions and you can scale out of positions when things get overheated. It's about having a strategy, a trading and investment plan where you know what you're doing. If things go for you, you know what you're doing. If they go against you, you know what you're doing. You're never caught off guard because you actually look at the positive and negative and create a strategy from it. It's all about probabilities. If the trend is right, negative percentage movements are just buying opportunities, and they're great buying opportunities. It's all about patience, rules, discipline, negative awareness, as well as positive awareness. And people in Zone 3 and Zone 4 are really good losers. They have understood that loss is part of learning. When we look at this kind of analysis, just because there's negative news in the market doesn't mean we jump. We can be intelligent. If you're sitting in profit and you feel things are a little overheated, there's no problem with taking some of that profit and funding your 10-5-10 volatility fund. Nothing wrong with that at all. That can be very good play. But we can see here that the VIX is not spiking. The bond prices are not going parabolic. They're just pretty much under a tight level of resistance. They may break out, and if they do, that's okay. We'll just manage our positions in the market with positive and negative awareness. I'd like to thank the very kind and generous community members who've reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/cryptotradingks. I'd like to especially thank someone you know. How cool is that? Hello, someone you know. Hello, Ken. Thank you for teaching me about true wealth, in addition to how to generate financial freedom for my small family. How beautiful. With your help, I'm learning to become more of a financial blessing to myself and my family. That's just fantastic. Looking forward to your masterclass. Thanks for being the calm in my crypto day. You're very welcome, someone you know. Thank you, Dennis, Vatafe, Harold. Yes, sir. Very nice of you. I'd just like to thank Harold for his very kind comments. Thank you, Harold. So nice of you to say. Vatafe, when people refer to the masterclass is coming out soon. The masterclass goes into far more depth on the process that I personally applied to my trades. It also does a deep dive and goes across many things that are not covered in the public channel. I just wanted to let people know, because they've been asking how to get into the posts of the coffee club. You just go here and you click on the post when you log in. When I read out comments, I don't log in because I always respect the privacy of people. When they create a private comment, that stays between us. Let's have a look here. The posts. These are what I do for the coffee club each month. I just bring out some little thing that I believe will help people, such as the 10-5-10 rule, understanding how you can profit from the volatility, assessing volume integrity. That's very, very relevant in the market right now. There's a lot of cryptos that do not have any volume integrity at all. Basically, what it means is you can get into a crypto that you can't get out of. Very problematic. Rule 420 and Rule 402. This is just something that I do to say thank you very much for the people who kindly donate. It's very nice of you. I'm working frantically on the masterclass video content to get you the very best quality I can do. If you would like to email me to book in and lock in a very substantial masterclass discount, you just need to email me at ken@kenstanfield.com. Stanfield has 2 D's in it. That's why I highlight them in yellow. ken@kenstanfield.com. As you progress in financial markets, you'll find it's very much a mind game and all about emotional control. Hope, confidence, and belief create progress. This is really important to understand. Have hope in your capability to work within the financial markets. Have confidence to know that you can get there, and belief in yourself, and you will move forward, and you'll move forward really well. It just takes time, but it's always doable. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from, and if you have any questions. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.